On the Vino cart-based units, you have several options for storing and transferring data. There's three keys on the right-hand side of the keyboard: print to USB and to HDD, and they can be programmed in your settings. And the way to get there is you hit System Setting, Extended Key, and you have the option for what the print button does, what the store button does, and what the store to HDD button does. So if you have a printer set up, you can have it set to print or to store or whatever you want to do. At the moment we've got it to store an AVI or an image to HDD, so it's going to store it to the hard drive, and AVI and image files are going to be playable back on a computer. So if you go to details, you can set up exactly how that's configured. So at the moment we've got it storing to HDD. You could send it to the USB or a file server if you have it connected. The file format, for videos you have the AVI format or image. You can also save it as a VRD. So a VRD file will only be usable on a Vino ultrasound machine, where you can use your post-processing capabilities and you can add comments and measurements after the fact that it's been saved. If we keep it as an AVI or image, we can't do anything to the file after it's been saved, but we can play it back on a computer. The image compression mode, we've kept it as JPEG. You can also choose PNG or bitmap. And store single frame image, that's disabled at the moment. If that's enabled, what will happen is even if you're playing back a video file, it'll only save a single image. So keep that disabled if you want to be able to save both pictures and videos. Include patient information on the snapshot. At the moment it's disabled. If you want to have your patient details there for your AVI and JPEGs, you just hit enabled, and then when you save the image and replay it, you'll see their patient details. For the time span, at the moment we've got it set to 30 seconds. For AVI and image files, you can only have 30 seconds as your maximum, and you can have 1 second as your minimum. For VRD files, you should be able to have up to 1500 seconds, which is roughly the equivalent of 25 minutes. And once you're happy with your settings, just hit confirm and back. For store to USB, you have the exact same options: print, store, etc. For this setting, I'd recommend saving it to the USB. For a USB, if you're going to be playing it on a computer and not transferring it to another Vino machine, I'd always recommend having either AVI or image set, because it's going to be the only option that lets you take it and put it in a computer and play it back at a later time. For USB storage, you also have the option, which is slightly different to the last screen, of being able to back up that stored file in the local Vino machine. When that's enabled, even when you're storing it straight to the USB, you're also going to end up with a copy on your Vino machine. So you don't have to double up in terms of saving it to your USB and then going back and saving it onto your Vino. It'll both happen at the exact same time, and it will be stored in this file format. So quite a useful feature if you want to quickly save it to USB and also have a copy saved in your machine. Finally, you've got your store to HDD, which is again going to give you the exact same options. I like to keep this store to HDD key file format VRD, because you're going to be able to store AVIs to your USB and to your machine, and they're going to be able to easily get transported to your computer, whereas your VRD files give you a lot of post-processing options. So when you're in a hurry and you're just trying to get the images down into the machine and you might want to come back and have a look at them later or do a measurement or change some of the details, VRD files are the way to go. Once the VRD saved, you can still turn it into an AVI at a later time by having the image up on the screen and just hitting save to USB or save to hard drive in a different format. Now you have two foot switch buttons. Vino has a single foot switch option and a double foot switch option, so they can be connected via USB. At the moment we don't have it plugged in, so we've got it to do nothing. You can do all sorts of things on this again. You can have it set up for your printer, you can have it set up to store an image. A lot of people like to have it for freeze or unfreeze, and you can also have your screenshot to USB. So again, really convenient option.